Your life experience, good or bad, is a gift when you share it with others. At Taxichronicles, we allow real riders with real stories to share their gift. So hopefully this episode will intrigue, enhance or inspire you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode and another lovely rider. Today we're honoured to have Ceri. I've just picked her up from, was it Allotments?
Grange Lane Allotments.
Grange Lane Allotments, and she's been growing vegetables and she's very, very happy and peaceful and like an aura about her. So we're just going to talk about jibber jabber about how she got into growing vegetables and the benefits and the pros and cons and comparing them to Tesco's. Nice to have you here today.
It's lovely to be here. Very impromptu interview.
So tell us, what made you want to get into growing your own vegetables?
Okay, so firstly, I'm a nutritionist by profession.
Ooh,
and
double E.
So I graduated this year. Woohoo! So thank you so much.
What uni was that?
It was Westminster and then Middlesex Uni. Yeah. So yeah, I'm setting up in practice this year, but so it's all kind of interlinked really. I was given a plot by my mum's neighbour who's had it for 30 years, and so I've had this for 3 years now.
Do they actually own the land then?
Dulwich Estate own the land, so you have to pay, I think it's about £70 per year. But you get a really big plot and you can do what you want with it, you know.
Build a greenhouse.
You can, well, funny you should say that, because
It's only a greenhouse. You can grow tomatoes in greenhouses.
You can grow a number of things. But yeah, so I mean, I've grown. It's trial and error, right? Like working with nature is, as you kind of touched on, it's so therapeutic, and you don't need a skill. You just work with nature. It's trial and error. Not everything's gonna grow. Most things will, but try again next year in a different way. You know.
No tropical fruit.
Funny you should say that, because I grew in this country Scotch bonnet last year.
Oh, is it?
And I got a really lovely batch of Scotch bonnet.
Wait a minute, was that in a greenhouse?
No.
So how did you do that? Isn't it where Scotch bonnet come from? It's not Scotland, is it?
So Scotch bonnet, you know pepper?
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking, what country does it orient?
It's the Caribbean, so yeah, it's Jamaica. You know the round Scotch bonnet peppers?
Yeah, it's Jamaican.
Yeah.
The women use it to cook.
Exactly.
But I'm thinking...
Because of the name. Scotch, yeah, I know.
Because there's a lot of there's 2 ships that sunk off the coast of Jamaica.
Right.
And that's why there's a section of Jamaica that are very light-skinned people, because those people never went home. And
that's St. Elizabeth right around there.
Yeah, something like that. I take it you're married to a Jamaican man?
No, I was with one for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and now he's my best friend. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Back to the Scotch.
Back to the gardening.
Yeah.
So I germinated them at home and started them off, and then put them in the ground. And I think I got about 30 peppers, you know, which was, again, it's just a trial and error thing. You just have to try these things, and if they work, they work.
So you got the seeds, you put them in the ground, you just left them. Now, can I ask you, are these seeds like genetically modified, or are they?
They're not the ones I use. I use organic seed and organic soil, and seaweed fertilizer as well. So you can get a lot of crap seeds which have been, you know, modified and peat soil. You're not going to get the produce, you know, because coming from the background I'm coming from, in terms of functional medicine, I'm really looking for as much organic as possible. Now, that's probably about 80% of what I grow, because you can't get everything that's organic yet. But I try best to grow that. But yeah, it's been a couple fruitful years, particularly over, you kind of touched on, although I deal with the science base of it because of the nutrition and the functional aspect of what it does in terms of your anatomy and physiology. But then you have the it's kind of a spiritual practice as well. I was born and bred in London, but I don't feel like a city girl. I feel like I should be out on the field growing, you know, and very connected to nature. So this allotment's really all about alignment. But in terms of the mental health aspect, it's, you come away from working, if you're into this kind of thing, not everybody is, you know. My partner isn't. He doesn't like dirt. He thinks it's germs and worms, and he doesn't like it. It's not his bag, but that's okay, you know, it's mine, and it's very fulfilling. There's something quite therapeutic about it, definitely. Yeah.
I hear you. What would you say you've learned that you wish you knew when you started?
Gosh, what would I learn? Oh, that's a good question. I would say not to be too enthusiastic in sowing seeds so early on in the year. Like this year, I started sowing seeds in January. You're really meant to start sowing seeds in February. Some seeds around February, you know, March, around those times. And because of that, some of the plants that I wanted to plant out, they're dead because they needed that deeper soil that they didn't get. So
because the ground was too hard or something?
Too hard. And
but you get a fork and dig it, like the pitchfork kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's an aspect to it, but it's not about so much, that's definitely a factor, but it's about the temperature of the ground. The ground needs to really warm up. This is why people start planting out vegetables in the spring. And because we've had a very wet and cold spring, people have only started to plant out recently.
Do you talk a lot with the other people in the allotments about your vegetables and what they do and what you do?
Yeah, I do. I've learnt a hell of a lot from people, because I was a newbie. There's women on there, men on there that have been doing this for 30, 40 years. You know, to me, yeah, they're the master practitioners on the plot, you know. But again, it's about learning from other people, but I think that do what you want to do, you know. When I was growing Scotch bonnet, and I was even going to try and grow okra this year, I didn't do the okra, I did other types of peppers. Everyone was like, oh, you're growing peppers, they kind of stick to very English foods, and, you know, but I like to just experiment and see where it goes, you know, and I think it's a different kind of creativity, I guess.
Do you put plastic over the area or anything to try and get the temperature warm or frost off or anything?
I don't know.
So you just throw the seeds on the ground and walk away?
I wish it was as easy as that.
So when they say I'm a layman, when they talk about sowing the seeds, what is it? You dig a trench, throw the seeds in, put the soil back on and go?
There's different kinds of plants grow different ways. So some plants you have to start inside, so at home, yeah?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so you have to sow them and
what kind of things are those?
Beans, courgettes, tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I sowed some beetroot straight in, and they're called, if you direct sow, that's when you just put a seed in the ground and it comes up. But a lot of them, because of this hemisphere, you know, if we lived in a hotter country, you probably could just dig trenches, scatter the seeds and water it, and then, you know, germination takes place a lot quicker. But we have to give them a little bit more pre-care before, you know, maturing a plant and then popping it in the ground.
How often do you come back to the allotment to water or treat or do whatever maintenance on your plants?
Yeah, well, again, that's seasonal. But now that I've put the plants in, some of the plants in, the first plants, the tomatoes, the courgettes and the chilies and the aubergines today, I'm going to have to come back, and the temperature's warm, every 2 days to water. Otherwise, they'll die.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of...
It's a commitment. Yeah, it really is.
You talk about therapeutic, because
yes,
if you believe in what you're doing there,
yes,
then you're happy to come back, because
definitely.
it's like, you know, it's like I used to go cinema as therapy. You could say therapy, or thing just to you can watch stuff and forget your own situation. You fall into someone else's dream or vision, and you feel really good about it. But yeah, I can see that's a lot of time.
It is.
That's travelling. How long do you spend there?
Yeah, it's travelling. Oh gosh, you could spend the whole day there because you work, you stop, you have a little food. It's like a completely different land.
What's the size of your allotment?
God, that's a good question. I don't know.
Is it like 30 metres?
It's much longer than that. It's probably about 20 foot long. About 30 foot long.
Because there's 3.3 foot in a metre.
Okay. Not great at maths.
Worry,
I'm good at sewing. Good sewing plants.
Okay, so you're saying about 20 foot.
About 20 by 10. Yeah. Okay. So it's quite long. Yeah, and it's divided into different plots, but it's a joy, such a joy to do, a pastime, you know. And to go back and see everything start growing, and because from a seed to something then being on your plate that you're eating, your
partner eats the food.
It's different. Well, funny you should say that, because I've only started dating him for 4 months, so he's yet to eat the food that I've grown. He will. I know he will.
He will?
Yeah. He doesn't have a choice.
Okay.
No, but he will, but he hasn't had that opportunity yet. No.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, it's nice that you found love during lockdown.
Thank
and it's
you.
interesting what you hear about the allotment and the vegetables. What would you say to a younger person, or anybody really, who wants to get into growing vegetables?
Start at home, I'd say, or there are lots of community incentives, because I also have donated and helped with Summer Leighton Road in Brixton. It's it's a very inner city community where the children are exposed to where their food comes from, and it's so important. I know I'm digressing a little bit, but
my cousin lives there.
Yeah, it's a really important incentive, and I've been donating for the past 2 years, and it's lovely to see the children walk past and, you know, pick a tomato or ask what that is, and I just think it's massively educational. So going back to your question, I'd say community incentives are important, you know, because trying to get an allotment, you're waiting years. You know, it's a very sought after thing now, where it was kind of looked upon as the elders used to grow. Much more younger people are getting into it because we've become more conscious about our mental health, where our food comes from, as I say, you know, our nutrition and physical health. So it's becoming more appealing now. But yeah, definitely start at home, put some seeds in a pot and see how you get on, you know. Or you can grow things in hanging baskets. You can grow some beautiful things in the smallest of places. You don't have to have land, you know.
If I had a balcony, I could do it on the windowsill.
Yes, absolutely.
I could do it on the windowsill.
Yeah.
And but I'm just probably not the right person for watering anything. I had goldfish and that didn't turn out too well. But anyway, moving on, basically. So what does the future hold for you?
Oh, in terms of the plot, I would. Wow. Gosh. So I'll keep it contained. There's too much to talk about. But in terms of the allotment, I'd like to stay there for as long as possible. A lot of people have asked if I'm selling. What's that? A handful of people have asked if I'm selling the produce. Maybe I'll get to that stage. I would love to do that.
You should do.
Yeah.
I give exclusive for your. What did you say you're doing? Nutrition
practice, yeah.
So the nutrition people, they get exclusive buying opportunity first.
Yes, that's a good idea.
But everybody else,
exactly.
Then you just have popular food that you do. I heard, just to jump in there, that so I used to live in Kenya, they said when they're giving these genetically modified seeds, that after you use them, that soil's contaminated, it won't grow normal vegetables, normal seeds again.
Gosh, okay.
Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but it kind of sounds about right, because it's, it's unnatural.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I guess you would probably need to really plough the land and fertilise the land and put loads of manure down to get it back to some kind of natural state, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just me guessing. I don't know per se, but yeah.
So you were saying about your what you have in line for the future?
Yeah, so setting up my practice and growing more lovely fruits and vegetables and learning as I go, I guess. Yeah, and sharing the information I have with other people that are interested in it. I've got a few people interested in gardening and growing their own stuff just through, I guess, passion shows, right? And people are attracted to that. And so, yeah.
Have you thought about doing a YouTube channel?
Some people have said that. I don't know.
You should be doing one.
Don't know yet.
You should be doing YouTube, Instagram and TikTok. Definitely. With your personality, you've got that peaceful aura, calm. You talk about what vegetables you're growing. You do a time-lapse camera of what seeds growing, maybe in your balcony or wherever you will live. And you can video your allotment, and you talk about things, you're explaining why you're doing this, all that. It doesn't have to be full-length videos, it can be short things to entertain.
Yes.
But then at the same time, you can do the full-length package. If you want more tuition, then you can subscribe for a small fee every month, and I'll walk and talk and answer your questions. You've got a whole sales thing, and that goes along with your nutrition, and then you call it Cecilia's world food or whatever.
Who's Cecilia?
Sorry, not Cecilia.
I love it. Just call me Cecilia. I quite like that name. We'll stick with that.
I've had so many customers today.
It's alright.
It's Cecilia.
It's a cute.
It's Cecilia. That was very good. I can imagine what it's like at home, man.
It's peaceful. It's beautiful.
See, that whole aura feet just went.
I was gonna say.
No. Okay. Well, you've been a great host. Oh, guest. What do we say?
And
host?
you've been a great host. Thank you.
Last question is, what's the impact you want to have on the world?
To educate people on their health and well-being and preventative medicine, and learning to eat better. If I could have everyone meditating daily, I would. It would make a huge difference to individuals on every single level. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, but I'd just like to teach that to as many people as possible. So that, I think I've tried to encapsulate some stuff.
That's good.
Okay.
Well, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you so much.
And we wish you well.
Thank you.
So, where can people find you?
Okay, so people can find me on my allotment page at Ceri Grows. So that's CERI_grows. And my nutritional therapy page is Ceri Balls. That's CERI_BALL_nutrition. And that's for my practice page.
Thanks.
Instagram.
Thanks a lot. We hope you liked that Taxi Chronicles interview. Don't forget to share and subscribe to get the latest episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economies and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. Listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. British Standard Time.